I am now calling to order a regular meeting of the City Council, Tuesday, March 24th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Councilwoman Rogansey.
Here.
Councilman Dwyer.
Here.
Councilwoman McGee.
Here.
Councilman Boyke.
Here.
Councilman Noonan.
Present.
Councilman Lafferty.
Here.
Councilwoman Moore is present. We have a quorum.
Next item.
Next item is adoption of the consent agenda. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Let's see, Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Rogan says yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is adoption of the agenda. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. Madam Chair, first off, under item 12, as these will be 12E, F, G, H, and I. E is Andrea Davis versus City of Warren. F is Cody Davis versus City of Warren. G is Ben Said versus City of Warren. H is Linda DeVoot versus City of Warren. And I is Dallas Groves versus City of Warren. As item 12J, discussion from Councilwoman Mindy Moore, Chicago Road. As item 11B, Treasurer Lori Barnwell requests to close the following banks: Comerica Bank for Warren Parks and Rec Bingo, Comerica Bank, City of Warren Parks and Rec Farmers Market, and Comerica Bank, City of Warren Water Payroll. And we are removing from the agenda item 12D.
Madam President.
Is that correct?
One moment, Mr. Lafferty. Or Mr. Noonan.
Please add a discussion item for myself under council business for a resolution I would like us to consider.
Madam Chair, I've had discussions with Mr. Noonan. We have tried to have a policy of not putting national issues on our agenda and things that are politically divisive. I feel that this item has taken sides politically, and I don't think that is appropriate to put on the council agenda at this time.
Madam President, I beg to differ.
Yeah, so Mary, what's the proper situation here? Would it be a vote to add it to the agenda? Okay.
You would first vote on Mr. Noonan's item and then vote
For the full agenda, okay. Okay, so Mr. Noonan, you would like to add an item,
Right.
you're making a motion?
I'd like to add a motion. I'd like to move that I be allowed to speak under council business for a resolution I'd like us to consider.
I support.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, I will call the question. Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Clarification.
Sure.
What are we voting on?
Mr. Noonan, can you clarify the resolution?
No, I'm sorry. We're voting on Mr. Noonan's
Resolution to go
first.
onto the agenda, correct.
And that's
Yeah.
not, I'm just asking for a discussion. I'm not asking for us to vote on actually passing the resolution.
If it's on that.
Understood. You want the item to be placed on the agenda, so we're going to vote on that being placed on the agenda, and then from there, the item would then have its own set of
I
discussion.
would
and
like,
vote.
yeah, I would like to have the discussion placed on the agenda, not the resolution, not trying to pass the resolution.
It's the resolution, but yes, we're on the same page. Mr. Lafferty, you're clear on what we're voting on presently?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Noonan? You were
Yes?
yes. Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
No.
Mr. Dwyer?
No.
Mr. Boyke?
No.
Ms. Moore?
No.
Rogan C., I will say yes, because everyone's entitled to items on their agenda, but your item fails.
Failed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next item.
We have to vote,
Thank you. Ms. Moore, I will get it together here. Ms. Moore?
yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 6A, calendar of pending matters, motion to receive and file.
Support Lafferty.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 7A, approval of the bills of the general revenue fund, so moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 7A, approval of the bills of the water and sewer systems, so moved.
Support Dwyer.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 8, audience participation for agenda items only.
Members of the audience who would like to address City Council this evening may do so by filling out an audience form on the right side of the stage. This is for agenda items only. There is time at the end of the meeting for general topics. First up is Lori Harris.
Hi. That's quite a few lawsuits that we're going to see on this agenda, and I'm wondering, do we have a number of how many lawsuits against the city of Warren we currently have? And I hope that they're not just you know, when people don't get their way in planning or zoning, you know, everybody can just sue the city. So I'm hoping it's anyway, that wasn't what I really want to talk to. I'm just surprised that there's that many. I wanted to talk about on the consent agenda number L. And that is the request to the wastewater treatment plant to award a bid to furnish ferric chloride to PBS Technologies for one final year payment from an annual amount not to exceed $112,000 to an annual amount not to exceed $268,000. And I'm just wondering, you know, clearly you've already approved this, but that's a huge, huge increase. And I'm wondering if you got the information you needed before you made that decision of why something would more than double for that. And did it have anything to do with the problem that we had with the wastewater treatment plant, the emergency? Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. That is the end of audience. Next item.
Next item is announcements, Madam Chair.
Ms. Moore.
Yeah, thank you. It's a little sad news. Former firefighter, retired firefighter, Warren resident, Carl Rivard, passed away on March 20th. He was a wonderful, wonderful man. Very young when he passed away, only 69 years old. He's his wife Ann and very active, and both of them have been very, very active in the community, just very involved with their children and their grandchildren. My son went to school with his daughter, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man, and he didn't get to enjoy his retirement long enough. So we could do a moment of silence for Mr. Rivard. Thank you. Thank you. Kind of on a happy note, we're very proud to recognize and celebrate the extraordinary career and contributions of Mary Massaran, whose accomplishments in the legal profession have brought distinction not only to her firm, but to our broader community. Mary's career is marked by excellence at the highest levels of the law. She has successfully handled numerous cases before the appellate courts and the Michigan Supreme Court on behalf of the Warren City Council, demonstrating exceptional skill, integrity, and dedication to the pursuit of justice. Her work has helped shape important legal outcomes and stands as a testament to her expertise in appellate law. As we observe Women's History Month, it is especially fitting to acknowledge Mary's groundbreaking achievements. After beginning her legal career in 1990 as a second profession, she rose to become one of the most decorated appellate attorneys in her field. Among her many distinguished honors, Mary served as president of the prestigious Defense Research Institute, an achievement that reflects her national leadership and influence. In recognition of her impact, DRI established the Mary Massaran Award for the advancement of women in the legal profession. Her accolades are extensive, including being named among the best lawyers in America for appellate law for 19 consecutive years, recognition as Michigan Lawyers Weekly Lawyer of the Year, and induction into the Lawyers Weekly Hall of Fame. These honors represent not only professional excellence, but a sustained commitment to mentorship, leadership, and advancing the legal profession. As Mary transitions into a semi-retirement role at the end of this month, remaining of counsel to Plunkett Cooney, we are grateful that her knowledge and guidance will continue to benefit the legal community. We extend our sincere appreciation to Mary Massaran for her outstanding service, her trailblazing leadership, and the lasting impact she has made. Her career serves as an inspiration to future generations, and we wish her continued success in this next chapter. Jeff, if you want to give that to her.
Thank you.
Yeah, she really, really did a wonderful job for us, and just the most professional person I've ever dealt with. Really top-notch. I often mention at meetings that I listen to a police scanner. Often, it kind of gives me a feel for what's going on around town, police and fire and things that happen and problems and all sorts of things. But I also am able to monitor in real time really great things that happen. And I'd really like to recognize and commend members of the Warren Police Department and the Warren Fire Department for their outstanding service and professionalism during a recent apartment fire at 12 Mile on Lorraine. And while monitoring the incident, it was evident that both departments responded with precision, urgency, and unwavering focus. Firefighters worked swiftly to combat the blaze and care for those impacted. And as I was listening, I heard them yell, as they're trained to do, victim, victim, which meant there was someone in the fire in that apartment that they needed to tend to. They took this person to the hospital, and when the ambulance left, the EMS squad left, the police officers coordinated traffic control and secured a clear path to ensure that the ambulance could safely and swiftly transport the injured person to receiving hospital. Although this level of response is a direct result of their training and experiencing, witnessing it in real time was a powerful reminder of the critical role our responders play in protecting life and property. Their ability to remain calm under pressure and execute their duties seamlessly in coordination with each other reflects the highest standards of public service. So I want to extend my sincere gratitude to the Warren Police Department and the Warren Fire Department for their dedication, teamwork, and commitment to the safety and well-being of our community. Their actions during this emergency exemplify the very best of Warren. Thank you. And I think that is all for me.
Okay. Ms. McGee?
Yes, by the agenda, I put some information. I was called to jury duty, and they had asked that I pass out some information to make sure everyone have it. There's a service directory for the services that we provide in Macomb County, as well as information regarding fraud alert for your real estate with your home. And we have over, it has reached over 21,000 Macomb County residents that signed up for this fraud alert. And you can get the information right there by the agenda at the end of the stage. Thank you.
Any other items under announcements? Madam Chair. Ms. Moore?
I was reminded of one, if I can find it. Just to remind everyone that April 10th through the 19th is Restaurant Week. And there, if you go on the city's website, there is a QR code for the full list of the participating restaurants. So if you go on the city's website, you can find that information. Thank you.
Any other announcements? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move on. Next item.
Next item is 10A, which is a public hearing. Request to vacate public alley, the existing east-west 20 feet wide public alley abutting lots 8-21, 58, and 59 of Heath's Fairview subdivision located 100 feet north of 8 Mile Road between Wellington and Elroy Avenues, 14049 8 Mile Road, also known as 14017, 14019, and 14033 8 Mile Road, 2751 Elroy Avenue, and 2740 Wellington Avenue, Section 36, Fred Baghdadi, Fred's Unique Furniture, PAV 250001.
Ms. Katapodis? I'm always worried I'm going to say that incorrectly, but could you give us a quick summary?
Good evening. I'm Michelle Katapodis, Assistant Planning Director. On January 26, 2026, the Planning Commission recommended the approval of the alley vacation in question. The 20-foot wide alley abuts lots 8 through 21 and lots 58 and 59 of the Heath's Fairview subdivision. And if approved, the abutting property owners of lots 8 through 14 and lot 59 would receive half ownership of the vacated alley. The petitioner owns the property on the south side of the alley, and lot 59 on the north side of the alley is under different ownership. The petitioner would have full ownership between lots 15 through 21 and lot 58. The purpose of the proposed alley vacation, the request is for safety. According to the letter of intent, they're seeking to eliminate traffic through the alley. And I'll be here if you have any other questions pertaining to this request.
Thank you. Does the petitioner want to say anything? Is the petitioner here?
This is the owner on the north side. This is not Mr. Baghdadi.
Okay, thank you. So you're not the petitioner. You could speak during the public hearing if you're not the actual petitioner of this. I'll let you know in just a moment. I don't think Fred's here. Okay. And the petitioner's not here. You don't, okay. Okay, I will open the public hearing. Does anyone from the audience like to speak on the matter? If you could give your name for the record.
Hello, my name is Katrin Makram, and I have my dad, Amir Zakaria. So I'm here to translate and talk for him. It's kind of restricting our way to go into our driveway. That's why we're not really agreeing with the fence being there. We have some pictures if you want to see. I don't
If you have something you want to share, Ms. Camp, our council secretary, can get that for you.
Okay.
So if I'm understanding, you're not supporting the alley vacation?
We're not supporting the fence. We don't want the fence because it's restricting our way to go in our driveway.
Yeah, so this is, Ms. Katapodis, can you clarify for us?
At the planning commission meeting, I know that there was a lot of discussion from the petitioner saying he could put up a fence and, you know, we could, make it safe for them and for him. But like we talked last night at the planning commission meeting, that before, they can't close off the entire alley. If this is vacated, they can't, without their permission, if they want to enter into some sort of access agreement in the future, that would be later. This request is only for the
Alley.
vacation of the alley, so it's not for the fence request. So they wouldn't be able to put up a fence on their property if it goes through the whole process and through circuit court without their permission.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So this is just for the alley vacation. Anything further would have to go through its own process, like through zoning or planning or through permitting, I'm assuming, Ms. Katapodis, correct?
Yeah, so this step would be city council, if approved, then the petitioner would need to continue with the process up to circuit court to relinquish the public's interest, and then it would become private. And then at the end, you would own half, the half of the alley would go to you in the part where your home is abutting the alley. Then the rest would go to the owner who owns the rest of that area. So you would own half of the alley right adjacent to your lot, which is lot 59. They own lot 59.
Got it. Do you understand that? That this isn't about the fence, this is about vacating the alley, and that which Ms. Katapodis is saying is that you ultimately would own half of it once the alley is actually vacated?
So if we do put the fence, it has to be,
No fence. We're not
No
talking about
fence.
any fence. This is
Okay.
only to vacate the alley. Legally, the process to go through to vacate the alley, this is not the time where we would talk about anything additional.
okay.
If you have additional questions, the planning department, you could call them tomorrow and certainly they could help you think through that, but this is only for the alley vacation.
If it's vacated in the future and becomes private, in that time, you could, if you ever want to get a fence permit, you could just fence your part of the property. It'd be through the center of the alley, not adjacent to your lot. And they could fence their half and secure their part of the property. Or if you entered into a shared agreement and you, like Mr. Baghdadi was talking about, maybe there's a key and you share it, but that would be some sort of agreement between the two of you. But this is strictly for the vacation part.
Okay, so for,
So I'm gonna, if you want to have any more questions, talk to Ms. Katapodis. I'm gonna see if there are anyone else from the public hearing that wants to speak during audience. So if you want to talk with her, you can certainly do that.
okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else who wants to speak on the matter? Ms. Harris?
Okay, I might not understand everything, but I know Fred's place, and I've enjoyed going there quite a lot in the last many years, but it's a mess there, and I don't know what vacating the alley has to do with, has to do with anything in terms of his property. And you gave me a funny look, but it is a mess because he's got so much stuff and no room. But the Planning Commission has been told consistently that they have to approve what comes to them. And I'm hearing these people say that they can't get into their driveway. Now, if there's a fence, and I don't know, some areas have driveways in the back of their house or along the side, but no one's asking them what they're worried about. I mean, telling them this is just vacating it, and then he could come back with his private property and he could do something that they couldn't prevent. So I'm hoping that This isn't just an approval because planning is told they have to approve it, that the needs of the family are actually considered and taken advantage of. So that's my comment.
Thank you. I have full faith in Ms. Katapotis that she would not put something or would not present something that perhaps was unbelievably unfair to residents in the neighboring area. So, Mr. Mazzarelli, yeah.
I've been over, good evening, council. I've been over there working with Freddie for a while there and trying to help clean up his property. Some of the biggest problem is people dump stuff behind the building. He's got cameras back there. He's put up no signs, no dumping. Part of the solution we thought would be vacating the alley so that he could put up some sort of barrier and not allow people to dump behind the building. That was the thought process here. We didn't want to close off all the way across down by their house. It was just, the thought process was to close right behind the building where people are dumping off all this furniture, because that's part of the huge problem, is he just gets so much stuff that's dumped out there when they're not even open. So that was the thought process in vacating the alley.
And Mr. Mazzarelli, in this thought process, if there was a fence erected, which sounds like the neighbors are concerned, would it in any way block their ability to get to their property?
It would still have to go in front of ZBA, and they would still have the opportunity to go there. It wouldn't, the part of the alley that they owned, he wouldn't be able to block it all.
Okay. Thank you.
I hope that makes sense.
Yep. Does anyone have, sorry, we're still have the public hearing, yep, so one moment. Anyone else from the audience want to speak about this item? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing, turn it over to council. I need a motion, and then Mr. Boyke.
Motion to approve.
Discussion?
Support Mr. Boyke, and discussion?
Discussion.
Mr. Lafferty. Go ahead, Mr. Boyke.
Could you approach, please? Yes. Thank you. The ownership of the property that's being vacated, you said that the city's going to retain some ownership? No.
No.
So-
Their application is to actually take it from being city property, the alley, which is not public, and they want to make it private. That's what, they want to vacate it to make it into private ownership.
Correct, in private ownership. So Fred's would own half of the alley technically?
He'll own the full width of it in the areas where he owns on both sides, and then only half in the area where they, the neighbor owns lot 59. So he'll own half in that area. The rest he'll own both, the entire width of it.
So the residents that live there will retain half of the ownership?
Yes, that in the area that's abutting their lot, yes.
Okay, thank you. I yield back.
Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you. Through the chair to Mr. Mazzarelli. Council, you may recall that Mr. Baghdadi had come before us prior for violations at his property, numerous violations, electrical, mechanical, fire suppression, and Mr. Mazzarelli, I'm looking at VSA for one of the three subject properties, the certificate of compliance, and it looks like we had several disapprovals for mechanical, building, and fire, and electrical, all in a disapproval state for a CFC issued on the 12th of January this year.
Do you know which building that is?
This would be 14019.
So that's the
8 Mile.
That's the newer building. So we've been working with him. He has been cleaning up the inside of it. We asked him to make the paths bigger. I went there with several of you. I know I've gone there with Councilman Dwyer. He has made huge strides, and the task was ominous. Our inspectors have been out there, our electrical inspector's been out there working with him. He has made big steps. We told him as long as he was moving forward, we would continue to work with him. I know the fire inspector, or the fire marshal's been out there. He's been working with them as well, as long as where the aisleways are getting bigger. They can actually, you can walk down there now. It's not walking sideways down the aisles anymore. They've been making big steps. He has been working with us. I have been giving him a long leash.
How much longer of a leash are we going to give him? I mean, this is not a recent issue. This issue has been going on for better than 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm not inclined to vote for
I
this.
inherited this issue, and I understand. We're trying to. I don't want to just put him out of business though either.
Understood. I'm not trying to put anybody out of business. I'm trying to have a safe business for people to visit and patronize his business, but he has to comply just like every other business in this city.
Absolutely. He does have COCs for the building next door. Unfortunately, when they fixed 8 Mile, now every time it rains, all the rainwater from 8 Mile Drive goes directly into that building. So it's just one comedy of errors after another over there. I have been working with them. I sat down with them the last time the inspectors went out, and I told them this was the last chance. So we worked through the stuff. He asked what he could do. I said that this would be the big step in vacating the alley and closing some of this down so people can't dump back there. That's a big problem. He had cleaned up a huge pile of that mess that was back behind the building, behind the new store. So I mean, he is complying slow but sure, but I mean, it's a large process.
Let me ask the question a different way. At least for the fire suppression that was disapproved, what is the time frame on compliance for basic fire suppression?
From what I understand, him and Mr. Oberly are working to get that done in the next the next month or so.
All right. I would be more inclined to postpone the decision on a alley vacation to ensure compliance with fire suppression and patron safety instead of allowing this to go through tonight and then saying, well, we plan on this to happen.
Well, it sounds like the alley vacation is a measure that's being taken to improve the situation there. So denying that is not going to help anything. And holding it hostage, I don't think this is the issue to do it with. I've been down there a lot, and I know that's a big, big project, that whole place. I always spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on fire suppression already, and it's a lot. And, you know, I don't, maybe nobody else has been down there, but I have a soft spot, I think, for him because I know that everybody for miles and miles that can't afford brand new furniture, that's how they get their furniture. And he gives away half of it, I think. And nothing is priced to be what it really should go for. And he's always helping out somebody, people there all the time. And, you know, he does perform a service to our community. He really does. And it's just a big thing. And there's been some issues over the years that haven't always been all his fault. And they're I mean, like that, you know, little quarter-inch set off that really shouldn't have been an issue and some things like that.
Right.
And I get Mr. Lafferty's comments, but I would like to see us just continue to work a little bit longer with him to get things.
To his credit, the last time the inspectors all went out there, he did shut down for 2 weeks and worked diligently over those 2 weeks to do some of the improvements that we asked of him. He closed down. He was able to, you know, clean out a lot of the stuff. Like I said, he did bring out 3 or 4 dumpsters. He got rid of the storage container that was there.
Yeah.
He got rid of the illegal signs that he had up. You know, there was a lot of stuff that we asked of him, and he did all of those things. We did create a checklist for him, and like I said, he is working his way through that checklist.
He is a really great guy. He's a really nice guy.
He's a talker. That's
I
for
know,
sure.
but he's a nice guy, and he's not a jerk. He's not a jerk
No.
like some people are, and you know, trying to get away and hide things, and yeah. So I just hope we can work and get things squared away. But I think this alley vacation will help, and I think to the folks that talked at they're gonna get the other part, I think that they're gonna get enough property that probably are gonna protect them from anything a fence on Fred's property is going to. I think they should be fine.
Yeah.
From the pictures I see, I think they should be fine. I'm done, thanks.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Yeah, Madam President, I guess just to close out, I am trying to be reasonable here. I don't want to deny, I don't want to put anybody out of business, but I believe that every business that is in our city needs to follow the rules. And I'm a big proponent of having a clean slate coming up to the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Planning Commission, the City Council, have your house in order, and have everything ready to go before we do this with abatements. We look at the taxes, we look at the order of magnitude for what it's going to take to rectify a situation, and we make a business decision. And in this case, one of the key items, these permits that are being issued are not trivial. They deal with safety. And I respect the opinion of Mr. Mazzarelli and the Building Division, and believe that 30-day delay on this, for this alley vacation, if he's making progress and he wants to do this, perhaps they can make plans, and if they're moving in the direction of complying with fire suppression per the Building Division, they can also plan for an alley vacation while we hold it in abeyance for 30 days based on the opinion of Mr. Mazzarelli. So I'm going to make a motion to table this item to the 28th of April.
I'll support that.
Absolutely not.
All right, so I will call the question, a yes is to table this item to April 28th. Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes to table.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes to table.
Mr. Dwyer?
No.
Mr. Noonan?
No?
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
No.
Rogan C. is a no. Item is not tabled. So we'll return back to the original motion, which I believe Ms. Moore and Boyke. Yeah. Ms. Moore and Mr. Boyke had made a motion. I will call the question originally on this item.
I don't think, I believe I
You
supported it.
supported it for discussion.
For discussion.
So I'm returning back to that motion. Do you want to withdraw your support?
I'd like to entertain discussion again.
Sure, okay.
I just want to make a statement. That location has a long history of violations. My only concern is that if we turn over an alley to him, will he comply with the requirements of the alley and not dump anything in there? And, I mean, if his record doesn't show, I mean, this has been 10 years, I'm hearing, and fire suppression's one of the biggest concerns. If that place goes up in fire, it'll affect the people behind them. I'll support her for a vote.
Thank you. Can the vacation be pulled back, Ms. Catapodis? Like, can someone petition to make the alley public again? No.
Maybe I'll let Ms. Michaels answer that.
Or Ms. Camp said no. To the new owner. Understood, okay. Okay, you're good, Ms. Michaels. I answered.
Your camp did
It
your
was
job.
a cumulative process. I received my answer. Any other discussion?
Madam President,
Mr. Noonan?
what I understood Secretary Moore to say was that this alley vacation would help the property owner to clean up the property and get on with it. And that in general, he's providing a public service as a business person. I'm going to have to go along with that. I hope that I hope that helps them. So anyways, I
Thank
yield.
you. Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
No.
Let's see, Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
No.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Ms. McGee?
I changed, I said yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. The alley is vacated. Thank you. Next item.
Next item is 11A, consideration and adoption of a resolution approving amendments to 2024-2025 Housing and Community Development Action Plans, HOPWA budgets. Motion to approve.
Support Dwyer.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 11B, Treasurer Lori Barnwell requests to close the following banks: Comerica Bank, City of Warren Parks and Rec Bingo, Comerica Bank, City of Warren Parks and Rec Farmers Market, Comerica Bank, City of Warren Water Payroll. So moved.
Point of order.
Yes, Mr. Lafferty?
Madam President and council members, I am employed by Comerica Bank, now under the umbrella of Fifth Third, and asked to be recused from this item to avoid any conflict of interest.
Motion to excuse the member.
Support Dwyer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You are excused, Mr. Lafferty. Returning back to the item, I need a motion and support.
We had a motion by Moore and a support by Dwyer.
Oh, you're right,
Didn't
you
we?
did. Yep, you're right. I had my numbers wrong. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12A, legal update. Mr. Schroeder?
None at this time.
Next item is B, consideration and adoption of a resolution approving an ordinance to amend Chapter 25 of the Warren Code of Ordinances relating to personnel and civil service, first reading. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. We have been working on this ordinance for a little over a year. I think we assigned Mr. Schroeder to rewrite the civil service ordinance. And Mr. Schroeder will give you more particulars, but just from my own experiences, I was on the Civil Service Commission from like 2007 to 2008 to 2013, and it was very evident that it's very, very out of date, and there are things in there that make absolutely no sense. Most cities don't even have a civil service commission. We happen to have it mentioned in the charter, so we have to have one, but, and we have police and fire have their own, so that's the majority of our employees are police and fire, and then it doesn't affect political appointees. So this is a long time coming, and I think it's a good thing. This council has actually been trying to initiate reforms and trying to bring things up to date. It seems like every issue we go to investigate, we look at the ordinance and it's 30, 40, 50, 60 years old with language that's not pertinent anymore, it's outdated, it's not legal anymore. And so we're working on lots of ordinances that deal with many, many issues. And I'm really happy that everybody on council has worked really hard together to try to update and get us into the new century. We aren't using carbon paper anymore, and that's new in the last couple of years because we were using carbon paper. So anyway, I let Mr. Schroeder address this.
Madam President?
You want audience?
Well, I would like to get a
Or
chance
not
to
audience,
ask questions
discussion.
after
Sure, yes.
Mr. Schroeder.
Mr. Schroeder, go ahead. Then
Sure.
Mr. Noonan.
Thank you. So
Chapter 25 of the Warren Code of Ordinances does create the civil service system. Point of clarification, the charter requires a merit system. It doesn't specifically require a commission, but it does require a merit system. This ordinance has basically existed since 1967. As I said, since the Lyndon Johnson administration, there haven't been any major structural changes to the civil service system in the city for 6 decades. There have been some minor amendments over the years, but nothing that changes the structure. For example, within the last year or two, this council amended the civil service ordinance to increase transparency. There were some in this administration wanted to withhold eligibility lists and rankings, and this council updated that to increase transparency, and that amendment passed. But the overall structure hasn't changed. But the city, our policies, the procedures, so much has changed since 1967, and if you read the ordinance, it doesn't really accurately describe what's currently happening. So this is an attempt to bring and align current practices with what's in the ordinance. The biggest issue is recognizing that there's a human resources department. If you went back to the 1950s and 60s, and 70s and so on, it was called the personnel department. And personnel historically was sort of a more clerical type role for the city. It wasn't a comprehensive human resources department that handles all the modern things that an HR department would handle, which includes just employee classification, labor compliance, safety and wellness, risk management, recruitment, workforce development, succession planning, training, all these things that are now in a modern HR office wasn't like that 50, 60 years ago. And so this recognizes HR department. Now, if you read the budget, we have an HR director, we have an HR department by the budget, but that's not how you create a department. A department has to be created by an ordinance passed by City Council that is published and is part of our Code of Ordinances. So at some point, the budgetary practice went in a separate direction from the ordinance. And this is bringing it all back into the ordinance so our ordinances are compliant with our current practices and vice versa. So these changes will reflect the evolution of HR from just a clerical office to a modern, comprehensive professional department responsible for compliance, labor relations, and workforce strategy. Another major change is positions that are exempt from civil service. An exempt position is one that is what we call in the city of Warren, you call it an appointee, like a political appointee. So this is someone appointed by the mayor, may not be confirmed by the council. For example, the deputy clerk, the deputy treasurer, they're political appointees. The treasurer appoints the deputy treasurer, the clerk appoints the deputy clerk. They don't go through civil service, they don't take a test. It's their appointee, it's someone that works for them and is loyal to them. And we have quite a few in Warren. There are, 30 to 40 appointees. They're exempt from civil service. But if you look at the ordinance, there's an outdated list of, a couple dozen positions. I pointed out the helicopter mechanic is listed as an exempt position. City hasn't had a helicopter in 20 years or more. And so the proposal is that all of the charter recognized positions, your deputy clerk, your deputy treasurer, city attorney, city assessor, public service director, that those positions remain exempt, and that the council by resolution, as positions change over the years, the council can adopt a resolution as different departments reorganize and they have different job titles. You look in here and it says something like the private secretary to the mayor is exempt. Well, there hasn't been a private secretary to the mayor position in 30 years, I don't think. Now there are positions in the mayor's office, community relations specialists or other positions, they're not in there. So the council has to retain its right to approve these as exempt positions. So like we do with a lot of things, this will allow the council to update it by resolution during the budget process. So when the administration comes with a budget proposal and they're saying, well, we're going to create some new positions, and they need to clarify, is it civil service union or is it going to be an appointed position? And then council would have to approve that as an appointed position. The mayor still would retain her ability to make those appointments The appointment process doesn't change, it's the process of identifying them as exempt from civil service. So there's an update there. There are several key additional changes reflecting the city's commitment to being pro-labor and pro-union. In doing a little bit of homework and history on this, I guess back in 1967 when this ordinance was passed, most of the city employees were not represented by a labor union. I don't know if any were represented by a labor union. But since that time, obviously, I think most of the non-exempt positions are represented by various unions. The general employees and supervisors have different unions, and what this does is recognize that, and language clarifies when there is a union contract, a collective bargaining agreement, that collective bargaining agreement would govern and control. Now, that's the case anyway. There's a long line of case law in Michigan that union contracts, collective bargaining agreements can even supersede a charter. So if you go into collective bargaining, you can get around your own charter in collective bargaining. That's how strong collective bargaining is in the state of Michigan. So that there's a lot of references to the collective bargaining agreements controlling. There's also modernizing and streamlining appointment, examination, and notification procedures. This maintains the merit system for all civil service employees. So really, it's mostly about modernizing this and recognizing the city's long history with labor post-1967. Additionally, we will have the council approving exempt positions moving forward. So none of this has been changed in many years. We've talked about this, and hopefully we can work together and get this passed. This is being presented for a first reading. I did talk to Ms. Michaels before the meeting tonight. She had a couple tweaks, more than a couple, but she had a few suggestions, and I thought they were great. And I think we can certainly incorporate those suggestions into the second reading. So this is just the initial proposal. She had some language related to veterans' preference she thought would be more modern, and I think that's a great idea. She also said we need to strengthen the risk management language here under HR. I thought that was a great idea. So certainly we're open to those changes before there would be a second reading. So we can certainly answer any questions at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Noonan.
Thank you so much. Obviously, your knowledge of this is way superior to mine, so I'm mainly trying to catch up and understand this well. I'm curious as to, it seems like this would greatly reduce the work or the scope of what the Warren Civil Service Commission would do. And that could be really good. But in the meantime, like, it seems like, would it be that they would only be responsible for temporary and seasonal workers?
No, they would, they would be responsible for classified employees who are not represented by a union.
Okay.
So classified employees who are not represented by a union, they would have control over any of that process.
Okay. So those wouldn't be necessarily temporary or seasonal, but some of them might be?
Well, they could be full-time. I think one thing here to be clear, you know, I started my career here in Warren, and I was a attorney in the attorney's office, and I was represented by a union, and I would go around, people would say, what? You're represented by a union? You're in the legal department? And that was true. Then I went to the Michigan Attorney General's office, and none of the lawyers there were represented by a union. They had civil service, but they didn't have a union, okay? And if you move around and you look at all the municipalities in the area, some regional authorities, the state of Michigan, you have a lot of classified employees who aren't represented by a union. There's a whole class of middle management, upper management, and even certain workers represented that don't have a union, but they're civil service. Any civil service employee who's not represented by a union would still have all the rights and processes allowed to be heard by the Civil Service Commission. Warren just has a practice of where there are very few folks who are civil service that aren't represented by a union.
Okay. So I guess, what in general would the Civil Service Commission still be responsible for?
Well, they would be responsible for hearing and deciding matters related to classified employees who are not represented by a union.
Okay. When it comes to the employees of the mayor's office, this doesn't envision changing any of them, right?
Not in the least. My understanding is, and it's true, that all of the employees in the mayor's office are exempt from civil service, which means they are appointed by the mayor, and as long as the position's in the budget, that they're appointed by the mayor, and they don't go through civil service, and that hasn't been the case for years. What this would do is require that the council, by resolution, recognize those positions as exempt, meaning that we needed updated job titles. I know that the council, so I've been up here for a few years now, has on multiple occasions asked for a list and not received a list. But this would require, but you can see it in the budget. So when council goes through the budget hearings in April, you will see, you can open the budget and go to the mayor's office, and you'll see all the positions in the mayor's office, and they're all exempt. My recommendation would be in the budget that maybe there be a notation of which positions are exempt, so we're clear. I know last year, I can't remember which department, but someone was proposing a new position, and there was no indication if it was civil service, if it was appointed, but this would allow the council by resolution to update that list. So if, for example, the mayor wanted to reorganize her office, council could just, at the budget time, pass a resolution approving that reorganization, rather than going through an ordinance, first reading, second reading, and publish it in the newspaper. That seems like a lot of work for a department to do a small reorganization or to change a job title. Like titles change over time. So you hear something like private secretary to the mayor, I think in the 70s and 80s that probably sounded good, but that doesn't fit with modern views of how people are described and their administrative responsibilities. So we could do that by resolution through the council, instead of being stuck with an ordinance that you have to amend and publish twice, or have two readings and publish it.
Okay, then, let's see. Section 25-23, item C, any person who appoints any person to a position not qualified or exempted under this article is guilty of a misdemeanor. So I'm reading the terms qualified and exempted relative to whether they're union or not union. But is that about that, or is that about, are they unqualified people like they really didn't deserve the job?
That's a great question, Councilman. So this language has been there since 1967, okay? So this isn't a change. What you're referring to, it says any person who appoints any person to a position not qualified or exempted under this article is guilty of a misdemeanor. This is appointing somebody who doesn't meet the job description, right?
Okay.
So if someone's woefully unqualified and you appoint them for something that has a civil service job description and they didn't meet the qualifications, that would be a violation.
So it would have a civil service job description
Right.
somewhere, like it isn't nebulous.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Well,
And that language has been there. We didn't touch that.
it's a whole new world for me, though it's been there since whatever. Let's see, am I done? Okay, it seems like meticulous scrutiny has been provided. I yield.
Thank you. Ms. McGee?
Yes. I have questions because even though the civil service been around since, this information been around since 1967, it was established to prevent favoritism, to prevent any it was prevented based on merit and not on politics. How are we gonna know what type of qualifications are needed without us getting involved with what we consider to be qualified civil service employees? To me, we want to protect employees more than anything. So how are we going to know what qualification? Will we have any input in that? And I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense, but I'm reading through everything that you have given us in a short period of time. To me, I definitely would like to do more of a walkthrough for this first read, because I want to have a clear understanding of how we exactly play a part in this.
So I believe I understand your question, and first of all, yes, that's why ordinances have 2 readings, so that we present it on a first reading. You certainly have the opportunity to ask questions and do research and, do your homework on this. With respect to the favoritism, that's why it's called a merit system. This maintains the merit system. Promotions will be based on, hiring will be based on merit, promotions on seniority where appropriate. And you think about favoritism and you want to prevent that. I don't think Ms. Moore would remind me saying this, but she was on the Civil Service Commission many years ago, and she protested somebody who wasn't qualified for a position, and she voted no at the Civil Service, and she was terminated, probably with a letter in the mail shortly after that. So there is no perfect system. It's not always clear that the Civil Service Commission would always do the right thing. As far as council's role in the process, council passes the ordinances, council passes the resolutions, and council has the oversight authority. So, for example, last year when an employee who felt something was wrong was trying to get a list, an eligible list that was created, council amended the ordinance to make it more transparent so that those lists were available to employees who didn't get what they thought they deserved. So council can always amend the ordinance. Council has the power of the purse in the budget, and council has oversight authority. Council can subpoena department heads to come here and investigate if you think something's going on. So council has a lot of authority as the check and balance on the administration, and that won't change.
I believe that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you. Mr. Schroeder, in reading through the changes, the only item that caught my attention was section 25-24 was the merit system. And in the proposed changes for the first reading, it makes reference to discrimination based on the account of race, color, religion. It mentions the word handicap that was not revised to modern standards. And then it also makes reference to disabled veteran status or Vietnam veteran status. So maybe in accordance with the changes that Ms. Michaels.
Ms. Michaels pointed that out, and she's going to propose some updated language that the city has used in other areas. So I think we'll be seeing that changing on a proposed second reading.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Moore.
I want to remind everyone that when we do a first reading, that is just it. We pass it, it may not pass, and then it kind of dies. But this is a first reading, and we'll work on it. That's why you have the period between the first and second, and we'll get, I think everybody's aware up here that the mayor sent out a press release today. Not sure why she was motivated to do that when we're just doing a first reading. She would certainly have been able in the last year to ask for input into what we had been working on. It is totally the council's purview to create ordinances, but we work with all kinds of people in the city to make sure we get it right. Not anybody has all of the information, but it was a little disconcerting to get a press release today. It seems ridiculous to me that someone's wasted the time to send to alert the press to something that's not even been voted into law yet. So I'm not sure why that. We have tried very hard to initiate reforms, and why we are getting stonewalled every time we try to lift this city up is just beyond me. But we will keep working hard. We're going to keep trying to make things better. And this council has been great about that. I'm proud to be with this group. This is one of the most cohesive, work-together councils I've seen in my lifetime. So that's all I have to say. Thank you, Mr. Schroeder, for all your hard work.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes,
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12B, towing subcommittee recommendations to approve the following towing companies: Able Towing, Bill's Towing, Ellis Towing, M&D Towing, Official Towing, Service Towing. Motion to approve with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
I believe this is 12C, right?
12C.
12C, okay. I thought you said 12B. Who asked for discussion? I did. Ms. Moore?
Thank you. The subcommittee met, most of the towing companies show up and their legal representatives sometime. And the proposed list didn't change from last year. And, we discuss any issues that the towing companies have and anything we can help, or new things coming down the pike that we need to deal with. And we seem very satisfied. Certainly, there were no complaints about the service we're receiving from any of the towing companies. They all do a really, really good job. And we know that things are going to be tough for anybody doing services for the city that require driving vehicles, especially diesel. The price of gas has gone through the roof, I guess, in the last week. I don't usually put gas in my car. My husband does that for me, but I think that that's something we're going to have to think about in the future. I told them if things get out of hand to come back, and the subcommittee would look, and they were very happy to stay at the rates they had from last year, but we may have to revisit that if things get too bad with fuel. But that's my only comments. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Ms. McGee and then Mr. Lafferty.
Madam Secretary, could you tell me how we involved with the subcommittee as a city with the towing company? How are they used? Please forgive me if I don't.
No, what happens is the tow companies are chosen, the police department usually sends over the list, and what happens is when the dispatchers receive notification from, it's usually police officers, they'll be at a car accident, and they may say, we need a flatbed, or we need to have 2 cars picked up. And they do round robin, whoever is on the list. They'll go, Able Towing is first, Bill's Towing is second, and they go through the list, so nobody gets preferential treatment. They all get the same amount of, well, I mean, one call might be 3 cars, one call might be 1 car, but it all works out. And then there's also an administrative fee that is paid for each tow, and that's paid to the city clerk.
So is this a contract process?
It's not a contract.
It's not a...
No. They're
Okay.
on the list, and it's, we don't have a contract with any of them. And they're not guaranteed work. We could probably at any time amend, we could come in and say, I mean, maybe somebody went out of business, or they didn't want to do the work anymore, or they could, and we could amend the towing list, yeah, at any time.
Is there any rule about, any rules regarding towing service if we are connected to any towing service? It could be the city, the employees, if it could be their type of business.
I don't know that there's.
Let's say
I mean,
one of the employees have a towing service.
They couldn't do work for us.
Okay,
They-
so
Be a
if they,
conflict of interest.
It would be a conflict, and they have to fill out paperwork that says that, I think. Mary, yeah, they submit paperwork that says they're not, employed by, or family members not employed
I didn't know
by.
if it was any.
And then when we have city tows, like DPW, there is a contract for that. And that goes out for bid. In fact, we just voted on it in the last 2 months, I think, 2 or 3 months of the towing, well, less than that, but the towing company, because Service Towing does the DPW. For instance, you remember the house that Mr. Mazzarelli will remember. How many cars did we take out of there? 180 cars on a property. So I think we used every tow company we could get our hands on, right? Yeah, all 6. So either that's like a, you know, a special situation, but,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Mr. Lafferty?
Thank you. I wanted to make mention, Ms. Moore, you had referenced the improvements that the council's making on the ordinances and the work we do up here. This is a very good example of that. And I remember back in 2019 when we first took office, that the subcommittee was rather contentious. There was a lot of unanswered questions. The policies weren't, particularly in order, and there were a large number of questions. I think that this last subcommittee that met last week was probably one of the smoothest I've ever seen. And you made reference to the resolution for the fees, the fee schedule that you championed last year, and made sure that we standardized that and updated it, and now we have a process for that going forward. So I think that this is a really good example in reference to what we're doing in civil service of how smooth that these things can go based on the work that we put forward. So just wanted to make mention of that.
Thank you, Mr. Lafferty. Any other discussion on this item?
Can I just add one thing? I will mention that with EV vehicles now, that the tow yards have to have a special facility built where the EV vehicles have to be stored. So all of the tow companies have had to incur a little more expense. As you'll remember, we revisited the fees for towing and added a special assessment, I'll call it, for EV. We bumped that up a little bit because it costs them a little bit more for what they do. So what we did do, we changed it so that we can easily change the fees, and that's one of the ways we were able to do that because of that change we had implemented.
Okay. Hearing and seeing no other discussion, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes,
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12E, will be to approve the settlement direction discussed in closed session regarding the Andrea Davis versus City of Warren et al. Macomb County Circuit Court Case 24002591N1. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Because this is an item that was discussed in closed session, and all the subsequent items, we won't be having discussion. I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
yes,
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12F, approve the settlement discussed in closed session in the matter of Cody Davis versus City of Warren et al., Macomb County Circuit Court Case Number 24001653NI. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
yes,
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12G, approving the settlement strategy discussed in the Ben Said versus City of Warren, Macomb County Circuit Court Case Number 243406NI. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
We'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
yes,
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12H, approve the settlement discussed in the Linda DeVoot et al. Versus City of Warren, U.S. District Court Case Number 220 CV 13168. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12I, is to approve the settlement strategy discussed in closed session on Dallas Groves versus City of Warren et al., Macomb County Circuit Court, case number 2024-005050, and I so moved.
Support Lafferty.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12J, Councilwoman Mindy Moore's discussion regarding Chicago Road neighborhood complaints. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
We are back with discussion. Ms. Moore?
Thank you. Yes, I received a phone call today that indicated the lane markings on Chicago Road between Mound and Van Dyke are almost worn away, especially the temporary area by Van Dyke. And it's making it very difficult to navigate that area. I would request that we send a message. I think Mr. Mazzarelli just gave me the thumbs up that he will get it to the right people.
Okay.
I'm satisfied with that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13A, request to approve a consulting agreement for a defense industry economic development advisor with AECOM Great Lakes, Inc. at an estimated cost of $1,328,644 over a 3-year period, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the consulting agreement on behalf of the City of Warren. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the work of the alliance agreement that we have with Sterling Heights, and I have spoken with both of the Warren representatives, Christina Lodavisi and Patrick Green, and they are in favor of this and urged us to please approve this agreement.
Any other discussion? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13B, consideration and adoption of a resolution accepting the award of grants from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Office of Lead Hazard Control and Healthy Homes in a total amount of $5,750,000. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. I think Ms. Tereschenko is here. Good evening. Thanks for being here.
Good evening.
That seems like a boatload of money to me.
Yes.
Now, is that, I know sometimes with CDBG that some bigger cities sort of distribute money on behalf of more than just ourselves. Is this the $5 million just for Warren?
It's just for Warren.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a competitive grant that we applied for and were awarded, so we're really excited.
Well,
for this.
yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So how far will that go?
Well, it really depends. This is going to be open to homeowners and rental properties, so it's really just dependent on what hazards are identified in the property. HUD identifies $30,000 as like a high-cost unit, but really, you know, HUD can approve if there's more hazards that need to be addressed, they can approve in excess of that.
Is it based on income?
Yes, for owner-occupied properties, the homeowner needs to be low income. And the good thing about rental properties is they can be vacant units, they can be, you know, the tenants can be low income. There's just a lot that we can do in rental properties as well.
What about city-owned property?
No, we can't do city-owned properties. They have to be residential properties too.
You know where I'm going, Mr. Schroeder. Okay. I was going to the land bank.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Question.
Ms. McGee?
I wanted to.
Ms. Tarasenko, your microphone.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Do we already know what the hazardous, what is the requirements for lead hazardous control?
So if once someone applies for the grant, we have to have the property tested. And so a third party will go out and they'll identify what things are hazards. So typically we see lead-based paint in friction surfaces. So a lot of times it's windows, doors, door jambs. Usually those are the main culprits or where you see lead-based paint. So we won't know until the home is tested where the hazards are and they need to be addressed.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yes.
Madam President.
Mr. Lafferty?
Ms. Tereschenko, good evening. Compared to previous years, is this a first-time receipt for these funds?
No, we received a lead-based paint grant in the past, but this is significantly larger.
All right. Do we have accounting already established for this? Accounts, appropriations?
Yeah, we've already established the fund with the previous grant, but once the grant agreement is officially signed, we'll make sure that the budget and everything is taken care of.
That it will all
Yes.
follow. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13C, request to approve an RFP and appoint a member of council to serve on the RFP for lead abatement contractors.
I'll do it.
Okay. A motion to approve the RFP and appoint Angela Rogan C. to the RFP.
Support.
Can I call my own question here, or do I have to pass?
Yeah, you can.
Can I? Okay. Anyone else interested in this position? No? Okay.
Real competitive.
I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C is yes. Thank you, everybody.
Great choice.
Yeah, thank you. Next item.
Next item is audience participation for general topic.
Members of the audience who would like to address City Council this evening may do so by filling out an audience form on the right side of the stage. You have 3 minutes. There is a monitor in front. This is for general topics. First up is Lori Harris. Yes, first up is Lori Harris.
Now I have to remember what I was going to talk about at this. I wanted to say that what I didn't understand about that lovely family is that their garage is on the alley. So in order for them to go in and out of their garage, they have to go in the alley. And if there was a potential of a fence being put up at 10 feet, that would limit their ability to get in and out of the garage. So I think that, you know, sometimes, especially when there's a language barrier, a little extra work trying to understand what the problem is. And I wanted to mention that I was around the microforest today. And, you know, while everything isn't budding yet, it looks desolate and dead completely. Although there are some small things coming up around the outside, I don't know what was there before, but just as an FYI. I also wanted to talk about this, the emergent issue with the wastewater treatment plant. And I'm just wondering why the mayor hasn't put out a press release, unless I've missed it. I can think of other things that have happened that would definitely need a press release. I saw a public notice at City Hall last night. I went back today to get a picture of it. Like, why is the city not taking advantage and publishing these things on Facebook? We need to do better, and I'm just really stunned. I'm not stunned. I'm not surprised. I wish it was different, that our mayor is not paying attention to the things that need to be paid attention to and not doing what she needs to do. And photo ops are not helpful when we have big crises in our city. I would like again to ask the council to figure out a way to ban Sharia law here, just in case. So we make it clear that we're not going to support that in our community. And this lovely family that was up here, they're from Egypt. And to me, a Women of Warren group would have been women just like her and every other person in the city. And I'd love to see us get together and do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Katrina Mineta.
Good evening, Council. How are you tonight? My name is Katrina Mineta, and I'm running for state representative here in District 58, which includes portions of Warren. And I'm here because I want to flag a few things that are happening with the funding situation around HR 19, the courthouse, the parks, and what I would do differently as your partner in Lansing. I understand why the city is in this position. We definitely need the money. The parks need the money, and everyone agrees that the courthouse needs this money. The courthouse is currently overcrowded, unsafe, and outdated, so much so that we had to close it down a couple of times. Unfortunately, Republicans in Lansing pulled $645 million that had already been appropriated and called it waste, fraud, and abuse, and then offered to give it back, but with strings attached, unfortunately. That's not the type of governing that Warren deserves, and it put this council in an impossible situation. What I want to make sure is that this council and the community is fully aware of what House Resolution 19 and Rule 52 actually requires. Any cities seeking state dollars for district projects now have to submit a signed letter committing to full cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. Other state legislators who represent Morton have raised serious public concerns that when Representative Robinson reached out to Warren, that he tied his help to recovering the parks money and pursuing the $10 million for the courthouse to submitting that letter promising full cooperation with federal enforcement. I can't speak to exactly where things stand right now, but I do want to express my concern for the exposure that arrangement creates for the city of Warren. If city staff or officers get pulled into the enforcement situation and something goes wrong, like a wrongful detention or a rights violation, Warren is who gets sued, not Lansing. And we've seen it happen recently. Local governments in Michigan have paid out six-figure settlements when people were wrongfully detained. An example is Kent County, who paid $190,000 to settle a lawsuit after a Marine combat veteran was wrongfully detained under a very similar arrangement. So there's something worth mentioning about the importance of public safety as well, and that is something I care deeply about here in Warren. When residents believe that local government is connected to federal immigration enforcement, some of them stop calling 911, and they stop coming forward as witnesses, and trust breaks down. We have worked hard in this city to build trust with our law enforcement community, and that's not a risk that I'd be worth taking. I'm not here to second guess this council, what you've done. The finances are definitely needed. I'm just here because I want to be a different kind of partner for Warren in Lansing, and I will fight to bring the residents of Warren's tax dollars home from Lansing through the budget process without conditions that create a legal risk. Thank you so much.
Next is Brandon Watson. After Brandon is Pete Sutcliffe.
Good evening, Council, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Brandon Watson, and I'm here this evening representing Macomb Defenders Rising. I wasn't born in Warren. I grew up right next door in Sterling Heights, and when I was looking to buy a home, I chose to live in Warren. I'm very proud of our city, and like telling people from out of state that we are the third largest city in all of Michigan. And it's because I care about the city and its residents that I'm here tonight urging this council to fully examine what Michigan House Resolution 19 would cost the people of Warren. For anyone who isn't aware, H.R. 19 is a House resolution that strong arms Michigan cities into violating the constitutional rights of their residents. It does so by holding state appropriations hostage unless the city certifies its compliance with federal immigration raids that are being carried out with a shocking level of brutality and a total disregard for due process. Many of those who are being swept up by these raids are American citizens who are being picked up on a whim because of the language they speak or the color of their skin. I realize that these strong-arm tactics puts this council in a difficult position. Parks matter, courthouses matter, and that's exactly what those who are behind this resolution are counting on. But there are some additional costs that need to be part of this conversation. Not only will closer cooperation with ICE leave the people of Warren holding the bag for expensive litigation when those constitutional rights are inevitably violated, by damaging trust in law enforcement, it promotes exactly the opposite of public safety. How many Warren residents will refuse to send their kids to school, stop reporting crimes, or simply drive away from a car accident because of the fear of being dragged away by masked federal agents? I fear that ICE's violent, unprofessional tactics are fully intended to provoke. No one in this city deserves to live in fear. What we choose to tolerate, we endorse. Thank you for your time and service to the city. Please keep Warren a safe city where public safety, civil rights, and accountability come first. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Pete Sutliff. After Pete is Jeffrey Matthews and then Gloria Sanker. If anyone has any additional audience, now is the time.
Good evening, Council. I'm very concerned about agenda item 13A, which you just passed unanimously, which is for the city to hire a defense industry consultant. If there's one thing I agree with Donald Trump on, and I assure you there is only one thing, it is to call the Department of War by its true name. Multiple American presidents have attacked other countries based on flawed reasoning, faulty intelligence, or political opportunism, like it's just recently happened. This is not just political theater or news headlines. Not only do Americans who wanted to serve their country die, but innocent children like the 30 schoolgirls whose school we just blew up in Iran, or the 10,000 Palestinian children killed using weapons we gave to Israel. It is disturbing to read in the review panel recommendation the vision for executing a long-term strategy for war industry sustainability and growth. I spoke on sustainability at your last meeting. War is not something we should want to continue forever and ever. It goes on to say responsibilities will include promoting policies at all levels of government that support the war sector and emphasize its economic and technological contributions. Clearly, this strategy is cleverer than to emphasize the destruction and devastation to human lives that are caused by this technology. But what about having a conscience? Clearly, you can have crackpots elected or appointed to the highest levels of government in this country who may not care to honor national sovereignty or follow the rule of law, as the previous speaker just mentioned. It is not a stretch to imagine military drones used to take out Donald Trump's political opponents in this country. He has even bragged about being able to kill somebody without any consequence. We have already seen ICE and Border Patrol used against citizens with deadly consequences. Let your conscience be your guide. if you were to say that the RFP committee was unanimous in their approval of ACOM, and so it is our duty to approve this contract, then you should apply that same logic to the RFP committee recommendations to hire Blue Strike to develop a climate action plan that would truly provide sustainable benefits to the people of the city. The city needs to hire someone with more imagination to handle economic development in the city. The easy money of defense contracts is alluring, but since Trump and Hegseth don't have a conscience, you have to have one.
Thank you. Next is Jeffrey Matthews and then Gloria Sanker.
Good evening, Council. I'm Jeffrey Matthews, co-founder of the South Warren Community Garden and board member of the supporting nonprofit Urban Seed. Urban Seed is a multi-award winning nonprofit whose flagship garden has run successfully for over a decade in East Point. We operate partnerships with local organizations, the Macomb County Health Department, and secure grant funding from businesses such as Whole Foods. We have local elected and city development officials on our board, along with farmers, builders, fundraisers, and technologists. Our primary purpose is to build successful urban gardens, helping to train strong gardeners who help create strong communities. I've returned tonight to discuss the ongoing issues we've had in securing an acceptable lease for the South Warren Community Garden. In the past year, we've created something truly outstanding for the local area. We've worked with our neighbors to build a vibrant green oasis that people enjoy and benefit from daily. It provides access to fresh, free produce and is an incubator for innovation that will allow us to do even more. We had planned to triple the size of the current garden this year, add automated watering, smart mesh networks, and a seedling distribution center. All of that and more has been put on hold. The long-term lease that we have been offered is a worse version of the same awful, restrictive, and overreaching short-term lease from last year. The lease takes away things like our ability to have exterior lighting, which is counterintuitive for making sure the garden is visible, safe, and cleared at night. It removes the use of our beloved farm stand and prohibits us from leaving harvested vegetables out for people to take. The stand itself only serves as a way for people to make sure they take what's already weighed, logged, and is ripe. Outside of that, it is a way for neighbors to share what is grown in their very own gardens. The stand regularly contains gorgeous homegrown vegetables that neighbors choose to be generous with. It has allowed us to take our late season's green harvest, ripen it, and return it for people to enjoy even in November. Taking it away is literally taking food from people's mouths. The pre-existing lease and these ill-conceived additions are counter to the core of what our urban garden is, our organization's mandate, and the ideas behind community. We ask for your help to push forward an acceptable lease in the next month. And if an acceptable lease cannot be found, our governing board and myself are considering alternative locations. No longer in the communities we live might we serve. This would be both heartbreaking and a great disservice to those whom we've all dedicated so much to. Thank you to those on council who have championed our cause.
Thank you. Next is Gloria Sanker.
Some thoughts on voting. If you don't have common sense, you have no place in government. Today, we find common sense to be very uncommon. Politicians in the blue states don't want police protection. They call for sanctuary cities. That means protecting criminals. They believe in mutilation of children for sex change. They believe men should be in women's sports. They don't believe botched abortions should be given medical attention to preserve life. They don't believe in identification for voting, but for buying beer, yes. They believe in gay rights over Christian values. This is actually the present platform of the Democratic Party, of which many of our politicians are members. It's simply that in its reasonable decision making, you cannot be without common sense and lead And yet, how many of these people hold elective office, making life a hardship because they refuse to allow common sense in decision-making? Elections are coming up for governor. Listen for common sense solutions. Common sense solutions served us for hundreds of years. Now the radical left is using radical means not to solve problems, but to incite them. Like no police to solve crimes, sanctuary cities to harbor criminals, justified the mutilization of children for sex change, promote gay rights instead of national prayer, no ID for voting, but it's necessary to have when you buy beer. To name just a few of the absurdities and abnormalities of radical thinkers, the only leverage that we have is to vote. Nothing else will change us from becoming a socialist society as New York has become. Why did it happen? People with common sense didn't vote. They thought the office of mayor was unimportant. Well, guess what? Every office is important, and now the most influential city in America, New York, is run by a socialist Democrat. People do it to themselves. No one else to blame. Too busy, too lazy to vote. Thank you.
Thank you. That is the end of audience. Next item.
Madam Chair, council response to audience, if I may. First, I'd like to respond to the gentleman regarding the community garden. Mr. Schroeder actually wanted to try to get involved, but it's our understanding that it's in the mayor's office. So it's being held up there, I guess. She's probably too busy writing a press release premature on an issue today that one more day that yours didn't get dealt with, sorry. Also, on the wastewater treatment plant, Ms. Harris, I have to agree with you. I thought that there should have been a press release. In fact, I would have been out Monday morning, gathered with reporters and explaining what happened over the weekend so that residents knew. That was a near catastrophic failure that could have resulted in sewage in every basement, every home, every business in the city. And that was it. And we had really, really great people that worked diligently, you know, nonstop all weekend with contractors that came in to fix it. They came up with a temporary fix that diverted the flow. And we are going to be doing a temporary fix now. It's going to be very expensive. It's going to take a long time. But I agree with you. As of the posting, you mentioned about posting something on Facebook, you saw it. Anytime a legal requirement, it never includes social media. That's not considered an adequate place to post things to get out to the public. And while you and I may go on Facebook, it's not very popular in the scheme of things anymore. I don't think any of our kids are looking at Facebook. I know mine don't. I don't think anybody well, I don't know. Not many people are looking at Facebook these days, so it's probably not the greatest place, but I'm there too. I get it. I will note on the request for the $10 million, that was a bipartisan ask. Representative Ron Robinson, along with Mike McFall, put in that $10 million request from the city. I appreciate that. I know in times of extreme partisanship, it's hard to get people to work together, and there's nothing more I appreciate than putting partisan politics aside to do what's right for your constituents. That's what we do every week up here that we are here. And we operate in a bipartisan fashion. There's no partisan politics up here. We do what's right for the citizens of Warren. And if that means I talk to a Republican, that means I talk to a Democrat, that means I talk to a Libertarian, I will talk and work with anybody I need to get what's best for the citizens of Warren. So I don't appreciate the lecture of the error of our ways and what we signed and what you think what that document said. That's not exactly what it said or what what the situation was. And the fact is, our police department has to follow federal law. We have lots of police officers involved in federal work, and we get lots of grants that make this city work, and we have to follow federal law, or we wouldn't get any of that money. And that's not just today, that wasn't yesterday, that's going back years and years. We don't have a choice. Sorry, my clarifications. Thank you.
Any other response?
Madam President.
Mr. Lafferty.
I wanted to respond regarding the comments about the Defense Alliance and the inaccuracy that the pipeline phasing for, the proposal rather, defined it as supporting war, which could not be further from the truth. The proposal that was voted on tonight establishes a framework for Defense Alliance governance, scope and deliverables, and stakeholder engagement. It builds a shared fact database that creates strategy, brand, and federal asks across the alliance of our two cities. It primes our suppliers, leads talent acquisition, and new business pairing with the Department of Defense. It measures success with metrics and KPI dashboards. It tracks wins, jobs, capital investment, and our pipeline for new investment. It focuses on federal capture of funding, appropriations, with the strength of not one but two cities united in this alliance to address our federal partners and create economic development that is not only supportive, but attracts additional investment along the defense corridor along Van Dyke. Plain and simple, we can build our city, we can diversify our tax base across commercial and industrial corridors, and we can ignore others, or we can welcome the development and new investment, sustainable investment, by building a cross-section alliance between our two cities, working together and strengthening our position in the region as the defense corridor that businesses will want to invest right here, either in Sterling Heights or in Warren, where taxpayers benefit all day long. And it does not once mention the word war or support in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
Any additional response? Okay, seeing and hearing none. I cannot talk.
Get it out.
Next item.
Motion to adjourn.
Support Dwyer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.